Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we're back with more Lover Pretend, continuing Riku's route. Maybe getting her ending today, I don't know. But I will say, I started this part, the other day, and I got into the pretend time, which comes up pretty fast, and then my software froze again and everything, and you can't go back in the pretend time, and I was like, son of a bitch, and I was just so frustrated because, like, of course, it's because my graphic card needed to be updated, so I updated that, and I was like, nah, fuck it, I'm done, we're not recording today. So I should have recorded the end of Riku's route, this part, and then, like, whatever. Like, last week I should have done at least 2 parts, and I was like, fuck it. So I'm behind, but, you know, listen, sometimes you just gotta say to hell with it. And that's just how I felt. So I have read some of this. I also didn't want to restart like that same day because I was like, I just went through and had all these thoughts and whatever. And I'm like, I gotta, you know? So I'm like, I'll just leave it. That was Friday. Today's Monday. So or the weekend, I don't get to record my Atome games. I have a bunch of other stuff to do. So I'm like, well, I'll forget everything. So it'll be almost like it's new again, you know? But anyway, I could have just restarted it. We'd only lost a couple of lines, and I could have gone back and been like, all right, you missed these 2 things. But yeah, no. I was like, nope, I'm out. So, but at least I'll be able to remember, I'll know where to save here. Because there was a point where I was like, I think I should save here, but I think I can click one more line, and then it went right into the pretend time, and I was like, shit. Anyway. At first, he said I was being rude, but he apologized to me in the end. Stop laughing! I was desperate then! Sorry, but you really are unpredictable. I really like that about you. Don't make fun of me. I'm not. I really think that. Listen, sorry. Like, she must really love me, huh? Love? Okay, I do remember this. Because I remember being like, why are you like, oh my love? He said he loves you. You said you loved him, then you made out. Why are you shocked? You know what I mean? And it could be something in the translation. I really like you. I really like you too. We made out, and now he says love, and now you're freaked out. I mean, maybe, but like, I guess that could be it, but like, it makes no sense why she'd be like, oh my god, love! Yeah, you just fucking said you loved each other, and you just had your tongues down each other's throats. This is not the moment to be like, oh, all taken aback by love and embarrassed by it. I'm just saying. So, my feelings on that didn't change in 4 days. So. Am I wrong? See? I'm right. Arguing with my father like that. You really are an aspiring screenwriter. I wish I could have seen it. We didn't get to see it either because we were on the phone, so. Not supposed to be funny. I know what he means, but it's just... I'm being pedantic and a douchebag now, so whatever. But I'm grateful. You managed to get him to apologize. And to think he still has it in him to do that. I guess some parents still have some pride left in them. Yeah, I'm sure he has. But even after all that, he was still really worried about you. Why don't you try talking to him again? Just the 2 of you. Maybe try convincing him one more time. Riku dropped his gaze and stared at the ground, lost in thought. After a minute... Alright, and just one more time. I'll give it one last shot. Okay. And this time, may I introduce you as my real fiancé? He might berate you again, though. Riku tilted his head at me, and I smiled in response. Of course. I'll be okay no matter what he says to me. This time, we'll get his approval. Okay, but you were balking at, like, love, and now he's like, can I introduce you as my fiancé? And you're like, sure, why not? Really? Really? She makes no damn sense. Right. Trying to hurry him along, I took his hand, and Riku's eyes narrowed slightly. He looked both embarrassed and dazzled. Oh, I do remember, I think, as we go through, like, my big complaints with this pretend time with the dad, and being like, this is what makes no sense here. Like, I get what they're trying to say, but, like, they didn't really execute it well. I don't think... Well, we'll get there. And then, after contacting Mr. Nishijima, we met him again at Riku's place, just like the other day. Good grief, I was wondering where you were, not answering your phone. Should have known you were off painting backdrops. As Mr. Nishijima sighed, Riku took a deep breath, and his expression turned serious. Sorry, Dad. I'm sorry for not answering your calls, and... about her. Are you apologizing for getting a fiancé and then getting caught in the act? You should have been more honest from the start. No, that's not it. I was lying about my relationship with her. What? We weren't engaged and we weren't even actually lovers. It's just that I really wanted to do stage design. I asked for her help to scare you into agreeing with me. Excuse me? Are you saying you've been lying since the beginning? Why, you conniving little... I mean, I'm just saying, this kind of attitude and the douchey ways he's talking to his son, you conniving little... Well, you know, just the way he is. And maybe it's just the way I'm reading him. But then when we get into the pretend time and it's like, your dad just really loves you. Are you on fucking crack? Where have we seen this at all? He didn't really act that worried about Riku being missing. He was more annoyed about it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he can't be redeemed, but I'm just saying there's not a lot of redeemable moments that he's had in, like, the 5 minutes we've known him. So. I knew that unless I did this, you wouldn't listen to me. In fact, you've never listened to me until that moment. You... Please, let Riku explain the whole story, please. Before he could retort, my words had shut his mouth. You said she was trying to take advantage of me. The truth is, it was the other way around. I approached her first. In the beginning, she still wasn't convinced, so I tried offering her more things. In the end, I blackmailed her into doing it. I'm sorry about that, Spacey. It's okay, we fell in love anyway. Love in the midst of blackmail. That does sound weird when you say it like that, so let's not think about it. Riku dug around in his pocket and then handed me a familiar-looking camera. If you put it that way, then I was also using you, Riku. I mean, okay, sure, but we didn't blackmail him. I didn't know how to write a romantic scene, let alone a script, so I played the role of your fiancé in order to learn more. I also thought it'd be a good way to get to know your father. Get to know me? Yes, the truth is, my mother wrote a script for a film you starred in before, Mr. Nishijima. As I explained that I was searching for my father, Mr. Nishijima's eyebrows arched and he huffed. Okay, also this. Because this has been the whole thing, like, did you forget that, like, yeah, I just wanted to find my dad. I guess we've just decided to take the fact that we thought it could be Riku's dad and just not worry about that. Like, and we just so nonchalant, yeah, I was trying to find my dad, figured you might know something or be him. But now that I'm fucking what could be my half-brother, like, whatevs. Look. Again, we knew from the start he was never going to be our brother. But, like, you know, at least in Yukito's route, we were like, you can't kiss me, you can be my brother. And he's like, yeah, no, that's not possible, girl. You know what I mean? And then we're like, oh, okay, fine. But, like, we never had this conversation in Riku's route. So, you know what I mean? It's slightly concerning. Anyway. I see how it is now. You're both taking advantage of each other. Well, at first, both of us were lying for our own goals, but that slowly changed. She's the only one who doesn't treat me like some famous actor, the Riku Nishijima. She's the only one who supported me when I said I wanted to take a different path. You know, except for that 5-minute stint where we kind of thought maybe your dad was right. Even though he's a big fat douche. Shh. I'll talk about that. All this time I've been alone. I thought I could go forward on my own too, but I was wrong. And just having her by my side makes me think I can keep moving toward my goal, so I won't lie anymore. I've decided that I'm going to date her and then marry her for real. You're kidding me! Good grief! Mr. Nishijima violently slammed the table with a jolt of frustration. However, Riku's expression remained unchanged as he silently pulled my hand closer to his. Riku, think about your future for once. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you'll never want for status or money. Do you really think there's so much value in stage design that you're ready to throw away everything for it? You put so much time and effort into what you've done so far, yet you're prepared to toss it aside as if it were nothing? I've thought seriously about my future, and no matter what you say, my answer won't change. You've really grown up. And this is like the only moment, though, when he's like, what? Well, status, money, whatever. He's like, I'm not going to change my mind. Oh, you've kind of grown up, kid. It's like, it's like right here they're trying to make it seem like he's like, I was just trying to push you, but, and I didn't think you were serious, so I wanted to make sure you were serious before I support you, but you've been kind of a douche about it. So, like, I'm not falling for it. It's just like, I'm not trying to make you understand. I just wanted to officially let you know. That's all. Let's go. As Riku said that, he tried to pull me by the hand, but I held on tight to stop him. No. If we leave now, they'll remain distant and never be able to understand each other. Both Riku and Mr. Nishijima would surely regret that. Mr. Nishijima listened to me back then and even apologized, so I'm sure just one more push will do. They can understand each other. I know it. I don't remember if it was here or it was like if there was another line or so after this, but I'm going to save here just to be safe. Because, like, yeah. Because, like, yeah, okay, see, that's it. And it's like, I figured there'd be one more line where she said something and then we went into pretend time, but we didn't. And I was like, son of a bitch! So. Pretend time! And it's not like I saved at pretend time where I could go back and do it again. I didn't, so. Help Riku and his dad communicate with each other! Hey! I abruptly raised my voice, and both of their sharp gazes suddenly snapped to me. I flinched, but I took a deep breath to steady myself. I want to ask, Mr. Nishijima, you want Riku to continue acting because you're genuinely concerned for his future, right? This, I don't necessarily disagree with. Him being concerned for his future. I'm sure that plays a part in it. I don't get the feeling that that's the only reason he's like, oh, I'm just concerned for your future, because you would have fucking said that. I don't think that Kosuke here is, like, so inarticulate he couldn't be like, I'm concerned for your future. I mean, he just said that now. Like, you'll never want for status or money or anything. But that's as close as you could get to, like, you know what I mean? You're like, okay, I can kind of see you drawing the parallel here. But, like, I just, you know what I mean? I'm not fully buying it that he's like, I'm just trying to protect you. Like, your job as a parent is to help guide your children to make smart decisions and not be dumb fucks. Doesn't really work out a lot of the time because there's an awful lot of dumb fucks out there whose parents failed them. Okay. You know what I mean? And like, and no matter how good of a job you do as a parent, your kid could still turn out to be a dumb fuck. But like, whatever. But like, I understand if Kosuke was like, I want you to be sure that this is what you want to do before you quit everything. But here's the thing. Unless it's different, even if Riku decided, I don't want to act and he wants to go off and do something else, I guarantee you, if he worked for like a year or two and was trying to do the other, like do the like backgrounds and props or whatever, and that wasn't working for him, he could probably come back into acting. I don't think anyone would be like, no, you're a has-been now, forget it, you left, you can't come back. Like, that's not how the fucking world works. You know what I mean? Like, I understand the father being like, listen, I want you to be sure, but that's not what he's saying anytime he opens his fucking mouth. So, like, I'm gonna call bullshit where she's, like, putting words like, you just care about him, right? Yeah, sure, that. I don't necessarily know if I believe what they're trying to spin here. You know, like, oh, he cares about you, he's just worried about you, he just wants to make sure you're doing the right thing and all this stuff, and it's like, he's never shown a single hide or hair then. Like, okay, I appreciate, game, that you're trying to make him a human being and not a complete and utter douche, but you've made him a complete and utter douche to this point, so, like, and, like, such a villain? And at least in Makino's route, right, Director Makino, like, it was more like, he doesn't understand the anime stuff, and, like, I can't tell him, because he's like, what? No, this is dumb! And then later was like, alright, maybe it's not dumb, okay, fine. Like, But that still didn't make sense because it's like you told Asagi to write for an anime, you wanted to direct an anime, but you never did, so then you're going to throw out all your kids' anime shit? That didn't make sense, but at least him, like, not understanding the art form, which is kind of what they're trying to do here. But instead of making him be like, no, listen, come on, they're just making him such a hard-ass douche, controlling, telling Riku what to do, not giving him any control over his life. Not like, fine, I guess you could go to college, whatever. But keeping him so busy so he could never graduate, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's so controlling, but you're going to try to tell me that, like, he really is, I mean, I guess he's concerned for your future in a weird, psycho kind of way. But some of the other stuff, you're trying to give him, like, a heart, and it's like, I don't think he has one, and I think you're reaching. So, like, I get what you're trying to do to wrap it up in a nice bow, but I don't think we had the character development to get to here. You're just forcing this on him, and it just doesn't seem legit. So, this is gonna be the big, wow, this is fucking dumb. Doesn't make sense at all. Like, it's so weird how much I love this game, and yet so much of the plot, when you pull it apart, is like, there is just this huge thing, this huge conflict that makes no sense whatsoever. This is like, it's almost like, I hate to say it's bad writing, but it's bad writing if you think about it. Like, here's the plot of the main game. Like, we're gonna pretend we're okay, for each one, how are we gonna do it? Okay, cool. Oh, we have to have, like, a conflict. How about this? That doesn't fit at all. Whatever, it'll be fine, no one will notice. We notice. It makes no goddamn sense. Don't get me wrong, I still love this game. I still love it, but, I mean, I would just be remiss to not point out that the conflicts kind of don't make a lot of sense. Not all of them, some of them are fine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not necessarily behind us being like, maybe your dad's right. But I'll give you credit for that one game and go, well, you know, he's so good at convincing people and, like, so good with his words that he had us bamboozled for a second. All right, fine. But really? But now we're like, you know, he's so good. I think he cares about you. I don't know about that. Like, you can't, like, you know? Or like us in an argument with Harumi, or like when we have arguments with it kind of seems to work. It's like, all right, maybe it's not 100% perfect, but you can be like, all right, it's these things. Or like Kazuma being like, I'm just a jealous bastard. Fuck did that come from? You've always been a really supportive friend. I'm not getting this. You know? Like, huh? The shit? Like, I mean, I get it. I feel like they could, if they made it longer, they could flesh it out, but then it would be pointless. But it's still just weird. I don't feel like we've had plot points in games that are so jarringly not fitting. And one's like, this doesn't really make sense, but like, whatever. But this one is like, this makes no sense! Am I crazy? And I feel crazy when I play it, when we get to things like this, but whatever, it is what it is. Maybe I'm just too dumb. Like, I don't know. Anyway, you're concerned about his future, right? So you're just thinking of what would be best for him. Is that it? We're leading him. We're like, you just care about him, right? Wink, wink. Like, don't feed him lines so he can lie, because I feel like that's what we're doing. And it's like, we're bamboozling poor Riku. We're gaslighting him again. Isn't it obvious? If you knew how good he was, you'd say the same. Riku was born to be an actor. I mean, you may say that, but the only thing you're good at is making excuses. Your words are admirable, but the truth is you're just looking for a way to get more work for yourself. I feel like that's a bigger part of it than he cares about you. You know what I mean? Like, I understand him being like, you're born to be, you're so good at this, why would you want to give it up? Like, I get that. You know what I mean? Because people who aren't you don't understand how it makes you feel. Right? And that's part of communication. But the thing is the dad's not listening when Riku's like, yeah, but I don't enjoy it. Who cares? You're good at it and I make money off you. That's basically the crux of it here. And that's why you're worried about me as an actor, right? You've always been like this. Riku's words were spiteful, but I could hear the pained tone in his voice. They just did a really bad job writing dads, is all I'm saying. I feel like the writer didn't have a dad. So that's why, you know what I mean? Because even Makito, I sent you away and I wouldn't let you come home because then I would miss you. The hell kind of logic is that? You're smarter than this, because that's some stupid people. And then this, I care about you, which is why I force you to act and don't let you have a moment to yourself. The hell? What kind of bastard-ass parents are this? You know, I'm glad Hanai's not going to be our dad, because then he'd have to be a dick, and he seems like a great guy, so... I thought for a moment, then... Do you think Mr. Nishijima doesn't care about his son's future? Is that really true? He cares about acting too. Is that really true? I mean, I believe Riku, but whatever. What do I know? Huh? I thought this during the call earlier, but your father isn't really that cold. When he calms down, he actually listens. He even admits to his own faults. It's just, his concern for you might be overwhelming him. Okay. I mean, I'll give the... Like, he's not actually that cold, because Riku is not actually as cold as he appears to be either. So, I'll give you that. And, like, maybe if he's not being an angry little bitch, he'll see reason. Okay, valid, because he's being an angry little bitch, so. There's no way that's true. He's always been like this. Yeah, maybe he needs to take anger management classes, and then he'll fucking simmer down. But when I spoke to him earlier, he listened to me. I'm sure if he calms down, it'll be okay. As I tried to calm Riku, I looked at his face. He was chewing on his lip, deep in thought. Riku, it's not that you hate acting, right? That's not why you're quitting. You just found another path you want to take. It's as simple as that. Exactly. Actors are important. They bring life to the story and its world. And there's so many of them I look up to. Anyone who's watched Riku act all this time can surely understand how he feels. Even if he did choose a different path, his devotion and passion for stage design was obvious. If he can just express it in a way his father can understand, I'm sure he'd get it. I mean, I do appreciate what we're doing here is trying to make them talk. Like Riku kind of explained it to your dad. Listen, you need to simmer the fuck down, Kosuke, and listen to your son. You care about him. Shut the fuck up and actually listen to him then. You know? But I still think we're giving him too much credit. Mr. Nishijima, you've seen how serious Riku has been about acting ever since he was little, right? Yeah, always. I used to help him rehearse, and I've seen all his work. All of it. Unlike a certain know-it-all. Like, again, and he's being a douche, and we're trying to help this man? Like, we're trying to help you, motherfucker! Dad! Riku chided his father, but Mr. Nishijima never shifted his gaze away from me. I stared back into his eyes. How will you answer? I've seen them too. You saw them for a reason. I would have been like, I saw them too, bitch! Then the last week! Watched them all. Your father cared for you the most, just as much as you cared about acting. What? Otherwise, he wouldn't have checked every single one of your films so painstakingly. I like how we're like, your dad cares about you, and he's like, what? He said that. See, even he doesn't understand what we're trying to do to him. He's like, oh, I don't care that much. Bro, what are you talking about? That's not why he did it. He just wanted to point out my fault so he could say he was a good mentor. But isn't that why you're so good at acting? You had someone dedicated by your side, guiding you. I think it was around here that we kind of lost it, but... Riku awkwardly looked away. That might be true, but... Huh! You'll obediently listen if she's the one saying it, huh? That's not it. Riku realizes that it's the truth. If he didn't, he wouldn't have calmly agreed with what I said. Riku had opened up his heart just a bit, and the tension in my shoulders dissipated. Look at us all step out, though. I've been thinking a lot about what we talked about last time, Mr. Nishijima. You're right, I don't know as much about him as an actor, even though his career influences his life and his future. But I can start learning more about him from here on out. I can learn about how he spent his time as a child actor and how he was able to manage work at such a young age. So, have you had some kind of epiphany? His whole life, Riku has been called a genius, but that's not what makes him the man he is. He spent countless hours giving it his all, desperate to do the best he can, and all because he devoted himself to the craft. That's why everyone has so much faith in him right now. Mr. Nishijima turned his face away as I spoke, as if he were remembering the good old days, or remembering the old days, not the good old days, but in his age, like, it was the good old days when he listened to me. His eyes narrowed and his gaze fell. Well, with actors in general, especially child actors, there's plenty of people ready to take your place. That's why it's not only about skill. Connections and manners are essential. Is that why you were so strict with him? You could say that. He looked so happy while he performed. I wanted him to experience that for as long as he could. And like, okay, all right, I'll give you this but when he became an adult and said he wants to do something else, then you got psycho and we're like, no. I mean, I understand Riku being like, he was mean to me as a kid, and it's like kids don't understand. My parents yelled at me all the time. It's because you're a little shit. You know? Like, stop fucking stop throwing rocks at cats, you little twat. You know, that's why your parents yelled at you. Like, of course your parents are gonna yell at you if you're being an asshole. You gotta understand. You know, like, I didn't do anything. One time I was in the kitchen drinking milk and my mother punched me. For no reason. Okay, that's abuse. One time I decided to go into the kitchen and start throwing all the glassware around, and my mother smacked me. Well, that's because you're being a douchebag. You're not supposed to hit your kids. It's still but you know what I mean? Like, if you did something that warranted punishment, your parents didn't abuse you, you were just an asshole. So, like, Riku doesn't understand as a child, like, my dad was like really mean and cold and awful. Because I don't think as a child he thinks of that. It's right now. Right now he's like, I want to do something else. My dad is being a douche. And then he's thinking about as a kid and he's like, see, he's always been a douche. And it's like, yeah, but like if he was understanding and was like, oh, look, I just want you to be careful and I want you to make sure this is what you want to do. And like, could you do both? We'll still get you some acting gigs. Maybe we can find a way to make it where you can still do, you know, all the set design and stuff like that and still act just in case it's not something you want to do. You have something to fall back on. Like, you know, just like a normal parent instead of being a douche, then Riku wouldn't have been like, he's always been an ass. It's like, you can't be an ass now and expect your child to be like, I mean, he all of a sudden turned into an ass overnight. No, you know what I mean? He's going to look back and be like, you've always been a slave driver, you know? Like, hello. And then we're supposed to, but we're all still supposed to believe you care. I mean, I'll believe this, like, okay. But still, I don't know. I mean, it should be like, oh, happy ending, good, they're together again, oh. They understand each other, but like, why are we like the savior of these two? It's a little weird. Anyway, aren't parents supposed to want their child to do what they love and support themselves at the same time? Aren't parents supposed to want their child to do what they love? Do you hear the words that are coming out of your fucking mouth right now? This is what you're trying to stop your child from doing. Even though Riku didn't make a sound, I could tell from the way he was trembling that this was getting through to him. He knew it. Mr. Nishijima just isn't thinking about his own job. He's thinking about his son, just as a father would. Okay, fine. Fine, but he's doing a really shitty job at thinking about his son and communicating properly with his son. And fair. Some people are not good at that, but you'd think as an actor that he would be better at this shit. I mean, act like a good dad. You're capable of acting, right? He's worried about Riku's future. When Riku was a child, he'd say stuff like, I want to be just like Dad. I feel like that played into your ego a little. Mr. Nishijima glanced sideways at Riku, then shook his head and sighed. Though he was acting like a caring parent, I could tell by the look on his face that he was trying to pick a fight with Riku. But see this! We had a moment there where you're like, okay, maybe he's being human. He's trying to pick a fight. Why? You're having a moment here, a decent one. Why are you trying to pick a fight? Back to the douchebag territory. You were creeping out of the douchebag corner and like, maybe you are a human and you're like right back in that corner. What the shit, buddy? Thinking hard, I turned to Mr. Nishijima. How does Kosuke Nishijima feel about his son? He still cares about him. Does he think less of him? He still cares about him. Okay, if you believe that this man cares about his son or cared, he would still do that. There's no way you'd be like, Well, maybe he hates him. No, he doesn't. To me, it's obvious you still care about your son. He's important to you. I mean, I guess I'm glad they put this in there. Sure, because, like, he's acting like a douche. And we need to be like, you care about him, right? Then stop acting like an ass. But it's kind of weird at the same time. Like, you still care about him. I guess because I came from a mostly functional family. I mean, look, every family's a little dysfunctional. We're dysfunctional, but it's kind of funny. You know what I mean? Like, we're very funny dysfunctional people. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I ever sat there and went, my parents don't care about me. They might not understand certain things about you, but I've never, I mean, okay, maybe when I was a freaking kid and I was a moody, bitchy one, like, nobody cares about me. Nobody loves me. Because I was fucking dramatic. But I mean, so it's just strange that we have this, like, you obviously still care about your son. You're supposed to as a parent. You should care about your children. I mean, I guess sometimes if you're an awful person, you don't care about your kids. And that's kind of sad. Or if you're an awful child, your parents might be like, I just wish I didn't care about you because you suck. So, but I mean, we're trying to paint the picture that there's a functional family underneath this outer layer of dysfunction. So having to say this is a little weird. I'm like, okay, all right. Now that I just said that, I'm like, all right, okay, we're trying to be like, see, they're still functioning underneath the huge dysfunctional layers. All right, fine. Look, sometimes I gotta work through these things, because, like, they just don't make sense in my brain until I say them out loud. Huh? If you didn't, you would have stopped watching all the films he stars in. If you were truly disinterested in him, you would have just ignored the fact that he wants to go into stage design. I like how, instead of him being like, well, of course I care about him, he's like, what? I can't believe you brought this up. Like, he's trying to hide it? Okay, that's a whole other level of dysfunction. You don't want to admit that you care about your son, so you're acting weird instead of being like, of course I fucking care about him, girl. What is wrong with you? That's the answer Kosuke should have given, not silently stare off into the corner. What is happening? Why are you so stumped? Go on, and deny it like you always do. Quiet. Even I sometimes don't know what to say. Mr. Nishijima was staring aside with a complex expression, very much like one a father would make. How would you know you don't have one? That was so cold, but, like, legit, you don't have a father. How would you know? I guess if you watched enough movies, you'd be like, I assume. But, like, it's just a weird assumption for someone who's dadless to make about dads. It's just, you know. It's okay. There's still a way to fix this. But also, that's strange, too. Riku's like, go ahead, deny it. Deny that you care about me. Why would your father ever... No, well, no wonder why Riku's fucking messed in the head. Because you always deny you give a shit? Meanwhile, you're like, you'll do what I say. You're going to act whether you like it or not. I don't care about you. Am I just too stupid to grasp everything that's happening here? Because it makes no damn sense. Like, again, no wonder why Riku has daddy issues if his dad is like, I don't care. Denies that he cares about Riku's future. What? But didn't when we started this, he was like, of course I care about his future. But now he's denying. Like, what? Alright. Clearly, like, missed a whole fucking several chapters here. I gave myself a mental pep talk. I need one. I need some, like, ginkgo biloba or whatever. What's the freaking herb shit that's good for your brain? What is that? I need some of that. Riku. Yeah? I think I understand how you felt when your dreams were brushed off. The future you wanted was denied to you. Of course you'd put up a wall after that, no matter who the person was. But you still tried to talk to your father despite that, to the point that you got a fake fiancé. Meaning, you still love your father even after everything that's happened. You want your father to acknowledge your dream and accept it. That's why we're still here, still talking about it, isn't it? He's like, we're still here talking about it because you insisted. Valid. Well, yeah, I'm sure I feel that way deep down. But if we can't come to some compromise, then... Riku... Riku smiled wryly, and I could feel the sadness behind his upturned lips. I mean, this right here is just, look at how tough he's being. Because that's exactly it. Like, of course I love my dad, but if he's not gonna, like, understand my dreams and he's gonna be a douche about it, then I'm gonna cut him out of my life, and that's gonna kind of suck, and I don't want to do it, but I'll fucking do it. I'll do the hard thing. And then he's trying to like kind of brush it off and be like, look, I'll be fine. And it's like, he's not, he's gonna die inside a little. Aww. He's like, I will give up on my father if he's gonna give up on me. Like, no, that hurts, man. I know how Riku's feeling, so much so that it hurts. After all, Riku already tried to talk to his dad about this so many times before. I mean, I don't want to be like, we're the one that's gonna fix all their problems, but maybe they really did just need a mediator. We're not really fixing their problem, I guess. We're just like here being like, you care about him, don't you? Of course I care about him. Then fucking tell him, asshole. Like, you know what I mean? The shit that neither one of them will say because Riku's trying to be calm about shit. His father is just an aggressive asshole. And then Riku gets frustrated and angry and storms out. Because obviously gets a little bit of that aggressive asshole behavior from his dad. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, if the father stayed calm, they could have an actual conversation. If that's the case, what can I say to him? What should you say to Riku? Are you giving up? It's hard to see eye to eye. Are you giving up? Then, does that mean you're giving up? Huh? You tried so hard to talk to him. After all that, you're gonna give up now? Spacey, you're the kind of person who finishes what they start, even if you fail or get reckless or drag others into it. That's what I like about you. Yet you're just gonna stop here? Just like that? Come on, Riku. Jeez, you're just as cheeky as I am, aren't you? When you put it like that, it makes me want to try harder. You're rather sly, you know. He still looked troubled, but there was a tinge of excitement on his face. It burst into a smile. If it helps you, I'll be as cheeky as you want me to be. What am I gonna do with you? I could think of some things. Riku chuckled and gently squeezed my hand. After a few moments, Riku took a deep breath and readied himself to try again. You're right, about all of it. It's thanks to you that I've gotten as far as I have. You taught me much about the art of acting and the etiquette needed to work with others. I looked up to you when I was a kid. But Dad, you weren't trying to teach me discipline. You were just trying to sell yourself. You know that, right? You're still determined to make me the bad guy, huh? 'Cause you are the bad guy. It's not like I want to say these things to you, but the truth is you've changed. You've slowly become ruder to the staff, even though you taught me to always treat them with respect. You even treated Mom differently. Eventually she couldn't take it anymore and left. You've really changed. Okay. So he's always been like this, but not really. He's always been hard on you, pushing you. But then he just got to be a big fat fucking douche. And maybe that's why he's so salty, because his wife left. She left because you were an asshole. You notice how people do that sometimes? I'm just gonna be an ass to everyone around me. Everyone around me leaves. How dare they? Do you see what they did? They left me. What kind of narcissistic bullshit? It's not me. It's the people around me. Oh my god! What did I just say? The people around me, they've changed. The way they look, the way they act, the roles they offer. And that's because you won't admit that you've changed. And why can't you see that? Because he's a fucking narcissist. It's exactly how it works. I did something mean to someone. They didn't like it. They told me off. Can you believe that they told me off? What a jerk. Can you understand my feelings? I'm I married one of these people. I'm just saying. I got some experience there. Lies, cheating, just overall mental and emotional abuse, gaslighting, all that shit. And then I'm going to take a handful of freaking cold medicine pills that made him wonky and weird. But he said he took pills. It was, but you think, oh my God, they hurt themselves, rushed them to the hospital, stomach pumped. Even the doctors were like, it was not anywhere near enough to warrant, like, calling it a, attempt. Because it wasn't anything. But it was just, when you mix a lot of, like, cold medication, you're like, hey, what's up? And you know what I mean? And it was just I took some stuff. And you don't know what they took. You know what I mean? You freak out because you care about this person and you think, no, it was a fucking drama show. It was literally just so that I would go, oh my God, why? Well, because I was cheating on you, and so that I would forgive you for cheating because you were so upset about it that you were going to hurt yourself. But you really weren't going to hurt yourself. You just wanted to make a good show of it. What kind of fucking psychopath does that? There are people that legitimately have mental health issues, that think about these things, that need help, and you're making a mockery of people like that by doing it to get out of jail free card? What the shit? That's so disgusting, okay? Seriously, if you're sad or upset or there are hotlines, call someone, even if you can't speak to a therapist, because that shit's hard to do. Like, it's hard to find therapists, it's hard to afford therapists. Like, talk to someone, call a hotline, something. Seriously, like, don't let it get out of hand. Your life is worth so much more than letting it go. You know what I mean? That's my little PSA for a moment. But doing all that and then finding out while he was in the hospital, because he got pneumonia from getting stomach pumped, because the charcoal that they pump your stomach with got in his lungs. So he ended up with pneumonia. And, like, his lung collapsed. So, legit, that was a serious, actual thing that happened, but by your own stupidity, by trying to fake a self-harm attempt to get pity and forgiveness for being a douchebag. That's disgusting, okay? Then I find out all the shit that's going on, the fact that you're not paying bills because you're paying for your whore's house and all this other shit. I packed my bags and left. And you know what I guarantee happened? I know exactly what happened. I tried to hurt myself, and I was in the hospital, and she left me. That's exactly the fucking story that was spun. I'm not stupid. I was stupid for a while, but I got myself out of that situation. So, I know a narcissist. Alright? I know those people who think they're not responsible for fucking anything and can get away with anything. And how dare people leave them when, look at all the horrible things I did to this other person. No, but it's all about me. How could they be mad at me for this? And then pretending you have mental health issues to get over. Nah, don't fucking make a mockery of people who legitimately, it makes me so mad. Kind of like, because then there's people, it's kind of like when you legitimately have anxiety or ADHD or OCD or anything like that, it's serious. And having people like, oh my God, I'm so OCD because I just like to organize my CDs. Look, I like to alphabetize my CDs when I had them, but I don't think I had OCD. It was just a weird fucking quirk that I had. Like, I just have to alphabetize them. That's just how I want to organize. It was an organizational quirk. It wasn't OCD. You know what I mean? Don't make a mockery of people who have legitimate OCD. Because that shit's not quirky and cute. Oh, it just makes me so mad when people make a mockery of, like, mental health issues. Sometimes I seriously do wonder, I'm like, do I have some of these things? Maybe, but it doesn't get in the way of my daily functioning. So, lucky me. You know what I mean? I can't imagine if it did, But it's like how everybody now thinks it's quirky to have mental health issues. No, it's fucking not quirky. Like, what the shit? I have cancer, I'm quirky. No, you're not. What the shit? You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, it's so stupid. Oh, it makes me mad. But anyway. That was a whole other side rant. We're having lots of, like, fun story time with Spacey lately in this one, but, like, I just can't help it when this asshole is like, everybody else changed. They're mean to me. It's because you started being mean to them first. What? No. I will not accept my own faults. it's sometimes hard to see your own faults until somebody else like holds a mirror up in front of you and tells you like, no, it's you. And you're like, oh, do you remember saying this? Yeah. Uh-huh. Do you remember calling them a jackass and punching them? Yeah. And that's why they stopped being friends with you. Oh. You know what I mean? Like, look, sometimes it takes a while, but like, narcissist! It's everybody else's fault but yours! So mad! You know what? No forgiveness for you! You better go get some fucking help. He's not gonna change overnight. It's gonna take some progress. It's gonna take some time. Ugh. I'm disappointed in you. Oh, Riku hits him with a disappointment. Nothing is worse than that. Nothing feels worse than it's not like I'm mad, I'm angry, you're a jerk. It's like, I'm disappointed in you. This hits so much harder. Riku, how painful it must have been for him to confront his own father, yet he held strong. Riku needs to tell him, or else he'll never be able to forgive himself. Because Riku felt his father was... What does Riku think about his father? He's a big inspiration. He's a bad example! He's a big inspiration. We're gonna be nice. Mr. Nishijima, you were a big inspiration for Riku. That's why he's so upset. An inspiration, huh? He only thought that when he was a kid. Exactly. As I got older, I realized I never wanted to be like you. Ironically, that's why I am who I am today. You talk like you know everything about me. You were inspired. You're disappointed. It's like you went through life studying me very closely. Oh, now he looks happy about it. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. So snotty. It's like you went through life studying me very closely. Of course I did. You were always with me. You just noticed that now. I wouldn't know. But when I think about it, maybe I wanted to be the cool and popular father. And then maybe you should play roles that fit your age from now on. And stop trying to act younger than you are. Like, Riku's looking at me with the scowl as, like, you know, the disappointed frown as he says that. And it's like, how dare you? Trying to act younger than you are. I'm just, listen! I'm not mentally my age, okay? My body physically might be falling apart, but mentally we're over here like, wee! Gotta go to daycare! Listen! I have it on good authority, i.e. a neurologist and an MRI, that says my brain looks really good for my age. And I take that to mean, see, my brain has not caught up with the rest of me on how fucking old we are. Body, old, falling apart. Brain, young thing up in here. Hello, fellow children. Exactly. That's because my brain thinks I'm... No, I mean, not really. I definitely do when I see, like, 25-year-olds. I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely old. Like, definitely can't pass for that or want to. Like, no, I don't get it. Unless I'm like, but I would be that 25-year-old who would be like, I guess I'm going to dress like an old lady because I don't, the trends. No, I can't do that. But passing, like, just younger than myself, still, yeah, I can't come to terms with how old I am sometimes. Anyway, listen, Riku, don't call me out, okay? Some of us are in denial. You really have no charm at all. If I did, I wouldn't show you even an ounce of it. As he said that, Riku turned away as if he were pouting like a child. Somehow the room feels a little warmer now. Perhaps little by little they were starting to see each other as a parent and child. Okay, I get it. I know you're stubborn and I can see how serious she is about being there for you. And this is your life. And does that mean... Fine, make your own decisions. I'll no longer be your mentor and you can struggle with only her to support you. Of course, I'll do everything I can to support him. I mean, doesn't that kind of come across cold? Like, I won't be your mentor and she'll be the only one supporting you. So you're not going to support him? I mean, I get it if what you're trying to say is, I'm not going to mentor you in acting and I can't support as in help you, you know, with your job role, kind of mentor you in that sense, so you're on your own there. But you could still support him as a parent, so saying you only have her to support you seems a little fucking cold. I'm just gonna pretend that there was a weird translation thing, or, you know, Dad is really a douche. Dad, thank you. I really did admire you and how you took care of me. It's all because of you, Spacey, that I remembered. No, it wasn't just me. You found a really great woman, Riku. What? You can't have her. You idiot. I'm not trying to steal your girl. Also, no offense, not going for Daddy Dearest over here. He's probably closer to my age than Riku, let's be fair, but... Look, if I'm gonna go after any one of the DILFs, it's gonna be Hanai, okay? Because that man, he's a himbo, and I'm not normally into the himbos, but so far, out of the dads in this... Okay, let's be fair. Yukito's dad, mom, whatever, Irene? Does that... What he changed his name to? Oh, look, I'm assuming in Yukito's route, your dad is transgender and not just a drag queen. But if your dad was a drag queen, I'm there for that. But I would assume then Irene likes men. So not gonna, but I'm just saying. And then if Irene is transgender, then she's a she, and I'm not into women, so But if Irene was just a drag name, and you happen to have a straight father who just likes to put on dresses, I'm there for that, because that's my type. It's a really weird type to have. But, look, that's why I like them pretty. I don't know, But, and Hanai's not anybody's dad, but I'm just saying, out of the adult male characters in this who aren't our boyfriends, we got Daddy Douche over here. We got Makino, but he seems to have a good relationship with his wife. I wouldn't steal it from his wife, but also, good as a director, but not into him. But Hanai, yeah, all right, fine. I'll go there. A hangnail. Ugh, so annoying. With the issues finally resolved, we all started to relax and the tension drained from the room. It was quiet for a little while before Mr. Nishijima spoke again, this time in a gentler tone. We are not finishing this today because I ranted too much. Whatever. Big surprise. You know what? Listen, sometimes this is my outlet, okay? Sometimes I feel like these things, it only take an hour to get through. 4 hours later. Still in the middle. Riku, I want to ask you one question. And what is it? When your mother and I divorced, you didn't go with her. But you know she wanted you to. Why didn't you? What? And do you not remember? Huh? Mr. Nishijima looked bewildered, and Riku narrowed his eyes. You said you wanted to act with me when I grew up. And that's why you talked about me making... Oh, and that's why you talked about making me into a first-rate actor. You were just a brat then. Can't believe you remember me saying that. You called him a brat? Riku, did you continue to act because you wanted to make your father's dream come true? Riku frowned at his father. Let me be clear. That isn't the only reason. It's just one of them. I like how he's kind of pouting as he says that. Huh. Well, if you continue being a washed-up actor who can't let go of his kid, your dream of acting with me will be just that. A dream. You really aren't pulling any punches. I don't care if it's my son or anyone else. I hate being made a fool of. This is the last time I'll let you talk big. Just watch. Even without your help, I'm gonna make a comeback as a Silver Fox actor. And so exactly, he's right now admitting you were riding on Riku's coattails. So, that's kind of douchey. And, we're having a touching moment, but you're still kind of a douche underneath. Mr. Nishijima was scowling, but he looked to be having fun. I feel like it's just this is it's not supposed to fully redeem him. It's see, there is a little bit of a human in there, and maybe he'll fix himself, and 5 years later, he'll be a decent, better person, because, people can change, And, hopefully that's, what's gonna happen here. We'll just pretend. Maybe Riku wanted his father to go back to being how he was. Like he is now. Like he is now? He's still a dick under that. That thought naturally made me smile. That reminds me, you mentioned wanting to know about the writer of that drama, your mother. Yes. Mr. Nishijima awkwardly scratched his head, and my eyes widened with anticipation. Well, I saw her in person at the first taping, but I only talked to her twice. One time I was on top of her pile driving. I'm just kidding. Could you imagine if he said that? Then you're like, oh! I don't remember seeing her anywhere else, and we only spoke of work. Is that true? Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? It's just, when you guys talked, did you approach her first? Huh? Well, I was the one who went up to her those 2 times. Really? What for? I asked if she'd give Riku more screen time. I tell her about how good a job he was doing acting and all. And to an outsider, I might have looked like we were close, but that's really all there was to it. Oh, okay. Sorry I couldn't be much help. Yeah, you were basically useless. I don't want to hear that from you. I'm gonna kill you to show me even half the kindness you show her. Every bit of my kindness is for her, and there's none left for you. Wait, Riku! Really now? I wonder where you get that twisted personality of yours. Hey, Spacey. Sure you want to marry this punk? Bet you already noticed, but he's got a rotten personality. Stop putting weird ideas in her head. Also, who said you could call her by her first name? Well, you call her by her first name. I'm the only one who can call her that. You have to call her Ueda. Honestly, you may look like an adult, but you're still the same brat inside. You're so annoying. Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like their dynamic now. Like, Dad's being an ass, Riku's being an ass. They're just assholes together. I'm liking this new dynamic, and I hope, I want them to continue and, get closer, but I don't mind if their dynamic kind of stays a little like this, Ah, you cheeky brat. You're on your own now. Go paint some fake trees or something. Do whatever you want. But once you start, don't you dare call it quits halfway. Think of it as the only train you'll ever take. I was going to do that even without your telling me. I've been ready since the start. Mr. Nishijima was still frowning, but he sighed and then chuckled as he shifted his gaze to me. It's so funny the way he's saying that, oh, you better, because you got no other choice now. You made your bed, and it's like, you're not the king of the acting world. If Riku wanted to make a comeback, he could find another agency that would snap him up in no time. No doubt. You know what I mean? Well, you see what he's like. Don't let it get to you. Just look after him. Counting on you. I will. I'll do everything I can. I bowed deeply and smiled at Mr. Nishijima. It's almost like, all right, well, I guess we're done here and I'll never see you again. It's so bizarre. I don't know what's quite going on. I'll make my dreams of being a screenwriter come true. Then, together with Riku's set design, we'll create works of art. I'll give it my all, so when that happens, I hope you'll join us on stage as the main lead. A film starring me with Spacey's script and Riku's stage design, huh? Well, I suppose that's still far off, but it's fine. You can make it happen, then I'll do a guest appearance, free of charge. And there you go, running your mouth again. And just make sure you're still acting by then. See, there's a little bit of warmth underneath. That's why I kind of like their banter now. Spacey, let's make a play that'll blow my dad away, alright? Yeah. As a family, they were still a bit awkward and rough around the edges. Yeah, but that's what kind of makes it funny now. There was some douchebaggery, but this weird, rough, awkward, douchey dynamic they have is kind of fun. I still don't think it makes any sense, but whatever. But they could finally talk to one another. They could talk about what they loved and their futures. Futures where they each walked their own path, but the other was still involved. It was going to be wonderful. I replied, full of energy, and Riku and I looked at each other and laughed cheerfully. Here's the thing, there's still another choice in this, so I'm going to guess we're not going to get the ending in this part, so I'm going to stop here. If for some reason, the next part only lasts 10 minutes, I'll just edit them together and I'll just pop in and be like, alright, I'm just editing them together or whatever. You'll never know, or you will, who knows, but, yeah, I guess it just makes more sense to stop now. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.